Imagine pouring every ounce of your heart into a confession letter, spending hours phrasing your feelings, and handing it to the person of your dreams. The next day, you get that letter back. Every spelling mistake is circled in red, your grammar is corrected, and the person you love has given you a failing grade in front of the entire school. The student behind that brutal D- is Baek Sung-jo. He possesses a certified IQ of 200, an eidetic memory, and a freezing demeanor. He absorbs complex textbooks in a single reading. For him, every exam and social interaction requires zero effort, making his daily existence completely, painfully boring. On the complete opposite end of the spectrum is Oh Hani. She occupies the absolute bottom ranking of her high school class. She struggles with basic math and routinely trips over flat surfaces. Yet she is armed with a boundless, indestructible optimism that logic cannot defeat. In the ecosystem of their high school, these two operate in separate realities. Sung-jo sits at the untouchable peak of the academic pyramid, while Honey is firmly anchored to the foundation, invisible to the school's elite. The gap between them is more than a social divide. It is a direct collision between unfeeling intellect and chaotic, unchecked emotion. Standing in the school hallway holding her graded love letter, Hani hits her lowest point. After years of one-sided admiration, the public humiliation is too much to bear. She packs away her feelings and commits to moving on from her unattainable crush forever. But the universe has a specific sense of humor. A freak micro-earthquake strikes her neighborhood. It targets and collapses exactly one structure, Hani's newly built house. Every other building immediately surrounding it remains perfectly intact. Left staring at the rubble of her life, her father reaches out to his oldest childhood friend for a place to stay. That friend happens to be Sung-jo's father, and he enthusiastically welcomes them into his home. Hani packs her surviving bags and walks through the front doors of her temporary new home, only to lock eyes with the boy who just rejected her. The school's ultimate outcast is now living under the same roof as her harshest critic. This random act of fate bypasses every social barrier in the school, forcing two people who should never interact to share a dinner table. Life inside the house begins as a Cold War. Sung-jo enforces strict boundaries, demanding that Hani ignore him in the hallways and pretend they have no connection at school. He views her presence as a noisy, irrational nuisance. But forced proximity starts to wear down those defenses. Hani's chaotic energy quickly leaks into his ordered life. She burns breakfast, makes noise during his study hours, and introduces unpredictable variables into his sterile routine. The tension breaks before midterms. Provoked by a family bet, Sung-jo reluctantly agrees to tutor Hani. He enters the arrangement to prove a point, that her lack of academic talent is a permanent condition that cannot be fixed. This chart shows Hani's typical performance, followed by a massive upward spike when she is motivated by love rather than just grades. To everyone's surprise, she demonstrates an unbelievable capacity for focus, studying to the point of exhaustion to earn Sung-jo's respect. Watching her climb the rankings through sheer, obsessive repetition forces Sung-jo to acknowledge that her stubbornness produces results he previously believed were impossible for someone of her level. It is his first encounter with the idea that effort can actually compete with natural aptitude. This shifting dynamic carries them through graduation and into their university years, where the nature of their relationship begins to evolve. Despite his brilliance, Sung-jo faces a quiet crisis. Because every challenge has always been effortless, he has no real dreams or ambitions for his own future. Observing Hani's relentless determination inspires him to finally seek out a path that requires real effort. He chooses one of the most difficult fields available and decides to study medicine. Seeing him find a purpose, Hani makes a corresponding choice. She commits to studying nursing, specifically so she can work in the same high-pressure environment and provide the support he needs to succeed. This mutual career goal shifts their dynamic away from a one-sided crush. They stop operating as genius and admirer, functioning as a partnership. The true test of this bond arrives when circumstances briefly separate them. Sung-jo finally gets exactly what he thought he wanted, a quiet, ordered life without Hani's constant presence. Sitting in that silence, he realizes that an existence without her clumsiness and warmth is simply empty. The predictability he once valued now feels like a lack of life. During a confrontation in the pouring rain, he finally admits his feelings. He acknowledges that a genius with no direction needs her emotional grounding just as much as she needs his focus. The narrative concludes that the genius needed a touch of chaos to find his own direction, just as much as the student needed his focus to find hers. Playful Kiss functions as an experiment in character development, testing how a high-functioning mind reacts to the constant presence of someone who operates entirely on feeling. The story relies on the concept of asymmetrical balance, suggesting that relationship compatibility is about filling the gaps in each other's personalities, rather than matching intellects. Honey's journey shows that consistent effort and a genuine heart can eventually move even the most intimidating obstacles. If you believe that hard work and determination can win out over natural talent, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. In a world obsessed with rankings, the person who refuses to stop trying eventually becomes the one variable a genius cannot predict or ignore.